Hello, it is I, Tiger. October. Probably one of my favorite months of the year. This month has a spooky atmosphere, and that's my favorite part of it. TV shows spit out Halloween-themed episodes, and even some horror movies come out. I like spooky stuff, but I've never really been a fan of gore, jump scares, or even horror movies. I'm more of a fan of mysteries, creepy stuff, and dark humor. But I wasn't always like this. When I was a kid, I only had TV channels for a short amount of time, which means most of the stuff that I watched were on cassettes or DVDs. Which also means I didn't really watch TV shows as a kid. Now, I actually like TV shows way more than movies. Anyways, join me as I conquer the movies that used to scare me as a kid. Chicken Run. Okay, seriously, who let me watch this as a kid? Super family fun. Lies. Why is that picture on the back of the box? That's one of the parts of the movie that scared me. So, in this movie, there are these chickens and they're trying to escape before they get killed and turned into pies. It's around the end of the movie where everything gets dark and this person goes all crazy. I mean, look at those eyes. She's definitely a serial killer. After all the chickens escape, she's totally going to make those pies out of people. There's a lot of unsettling scenes in this movie, and the stop-motion animation gives it a dark atmosphere. I only remember parts of this movie because I think I only watched it once and then I avoided it like the plague. The scene that I remember the most was when they were going through the machine and we get to see how the pies are made. Remember kids, super family fun! Even though this movie scared me as a kid, I have a new appreciation for it. Sure, the plot is predictable, but it has the type of creepy that I like. Subtle and not too graphic. I'd say that this movie isn't for kids, even though on the back it says super family fun. This movie is better for teenagers or adults. Coraline. Okay, so out of all the movies on this list, I'd say that this one probably terrified me the most, which is not really a surprise. The movie is about a girl who moves into a new house and finds a secret door that leads to another dimension where everything is perfect and, oh no, those eyes. Yeah, even though their eyes are unsettling, that's not really what scared me the most. What scared me the most was when the perfect version of her mother turns into a half-human, half-spider creature, and that's kind of messed up. But as a kid, I didn't realize how messed up this movie actually is. Turns out that there are other kids that went through the same thing that Coraline did, but they decided to stay in the perfect world and suffer the consequences. Rewatching this movie, I actually enjoyed it a lot. It's a good creepy stop-motion movie. If you haven't watched it yet, I recommend it, especially for Halloween. Balto. Okay, let's start this movie and live action! Apparently, this movie is based on a true story, but even as a kid, I didn't believe this. And because of the internet, you can quickly find out that this movie is very, very, very loosely based on a true story. I mean, there were dog sleds, and kids were sick, and Balto was a dog, but that's about it. I don't even think he was half wolf. Anyways, there were a lot of scary moments in this movie. Like, seriously, there's this giant bear that looks like he was made out of nightmares. Which terrified and confused me as a kid because in this movie, this is a bear and these guys are also bears. I'm pretty sure that these guys are polar bears and I'm guessing that this is a black bear, but in real life, polar bears are bigger and deadlier than black bears. But whatever, rewatching this scene, I actually really like how it was animated. More terrifying moments happen around the end of the movie when the movie decides to throw everything it has at Balto. There's cliffs, an avalanche, the medicine box breaks, and pretty much nature is just trying to kill them. Rewatching this movie, the two polar bears annoy me more than they did as a kid. They're obviously comic relief characters, but they're just annoying. Also, this movie is much more grim than I remember. Yeah. I remember practically everything about this movie because as a kid, I rewatched it so many times that it's practically engraved in my brain. Why did I rewatch this movie so many times? Hello, talking animals. Yeah, I was sort of obsessed with talking animals. This movie is still pretty cool. I mean, look at this animation. Yep, still awesome. The Magic Voyage. Well, this movie is weirder than I remember. Apparently, this thing is a woodworm, but last time I checked, woodworms don't have arms or legs. This pest convinced this other guy that the world is a globe, and he believes him right away. 3 minutes after meeting each other, they sing a song about being best friends.
All this time I kept ignoring that my life was so dull and boring, and then all at once I met a fella like you.
Oh no, don't let him sing. Please do not let him sing. Apparently this movie is a German movie, but the version that I watched was the English dub version, and whoa, did they have a script? Because some parts of it seem like the voice actor was just watching the movie while dubbing it.
What is that? Oh my god. Oh, it's a flying squirrel. What is it? Hello? It's a girl. Hey. Look at me. I look stupid again. Look, there I am.
No. Show, don't tell. And it's like this throughout the movie. It just doesn't know when to be quiet. For some reason, the woodworm falls in love with a fairy, and there's this bad guy that kidnaps the fairy, and whatever. What scared me was the villain. They managed to actually make a scary villain, even though this movie is ridiculous. Seriously, this movie is terrible. I can't believe I actually watched this movie as a kid and I wasn't bored out of my mind. I must have rewatched it a couple of times because I somehow remember this movie. But watching it now, it is terrible, annoying, boring. All the characters are idiots except for the woodworm. The plot doesn't make sense, and the worst part is, this movie is based on Christopher Columbus, and he's not even the main character. This off-brand cereal mascot is. Not only that, this movie is so loosely based on the source material that it just makes you think, what was the point? Why was this movie even made? It is so weird and it doesn't make any sense. Stay away from this movie. -10 out of 10, would not recommend. Tom and Jerry, the movie. Okay, I know there's like so many Tom and Jerry movies, but we're talking about the one that they talk. Yes, Tom and Jerry, two iconic characters that are known for not talking, known for expressing their emotions through animation, talk in this movie. And how they explain the reason why they could suddenly talk is pretty lame.
I'm Tom.
I'm Jerry.
You talked!
Yep, the reason why they never talked to each other before is because they didn't know the other one can talk. This movie is weird, and yeah, there are a lot of Tom and Jerry movies that are weird, but this one feels like a fan fiction. This generic blonde, blue-eyed girl wants to be reunited with her father. Her nanny, on the other hand, doesn't want that to happen because she loves money, and without the girl, she loses all her money, or something like that. So what scared me was around the end of the movie, the girl's father's cabin gets set on fire and Tom and Jerry almost dies. Rewatching this part, it doesn't seem that bad, but if her dad didn't magically appear out of nowhere to save the day, she probably would have died. This movie isn't that good, but it's good enough to keep a kid quiet for an hour. But the best parts of the movie is when Tom and Jerry are acting like Tom and Jerry, which is only at the beginning and the very end of the movie. No talking, just them acting like themselves. If you want to keep your kid quiet, just find a different Tom and Jerry movie. Anyways, here's a clip from the movie without any context. Fifi Longstocking. okay. It was a bit hard to find information about this movie at first, because apparently her name is Pepe, not Fifi. That's my fault for having the French version, but I don't care. I'm gonna keep calling her Fifi because I like that name way better than Pepe. I'm probably not even pronouncing it right, but it's easier to say Fifi, so I'm going with Fifi. Rewatching the Tom and Jerry movie before this made me notice how similar these two movies are. They have similar looking villains, there's generic kids with no personality, the mother passed away, the father is missing for the majority of the film, and the father somehow magically appears at the very end of the movie. Like seriously, in this movie, the father literally appears out of nowhere at the end of the movie. There is no reason why he's still alive. What scared me as a kid was the beginning of the movie when there's this storm and her dad gets swept away. In the movie, they really tried to make it not scary. There's goofy music, she's smiling, but that does not change the fact that her father died. Yes, her dad is dead because I refuse to believe that her dad just magically appears at the end of the movie wearing the same outfit that he was wearing when he got swept away. His clothes aren't even damaged at all. Either he's a ghost or that's his twin brother. It's just annoying me so much that there's this big plot hole. Anyways, rewatching this movie, it's okay, but Fifi is totally a psychopath. She constantly lies and does whatever she wants even if it's wrong. The villain of this movie is this woman. She's evil because she doesn't think a child should live alone without supervision. And judging by the fact that Fifi lets in 2 convicted criminals into her house in the middle of the night, she might not be wrong. Fifi doesn't even know how to read or even count. I'm sort of on the side of the villain. Because this girl needs help. At her age, she should at least know how to count. But yeah, other than that, it's an okay movie. So those are the movies that scared me as a kid. Chicken Run. Nice movie, but a little bit predictable. Coraline. Great movie, I definitely recommend it. Balto. Rewatching it brought back some nostalgic memories. I honestly don't like it as much as I did as a kid, but it has great animation and I could definitely see why a lot of people like this movie. The Magic Voyage is way more weird, confusing, and annoying than I remember it being. And Tom and Jerry and Fifi Longstocking, obviously the scary parts weren't as scary as I remember them being, but it was still nice to rewatch them after all these years. Okay, there's this one other thing, and I'm a bit ashamed to admit it. It wasn't a movie, it was a TV show. Like I said, I didn't really watch TV shows as a kid, so it was one of those DVDs with a bunch of episodes on it. The TV show was SpongeBob. Okay, don't get me wrong, the TV show didn't scare me. It was this one episode that I would always skip because it terrified me. And no, it wasn't a Halloween episode. I actually remember really enjoying the Halloween episodes. The episode that I'm talking about was Survival of the Idiots. Probably what made me avoid this episode was because when I was a kid, Sandy was my favorite character. In this episode, she practically turns into a monster and that terrified me. Also, the fact that both of them got stuck in the dome and they couldn't escape, it was like a horror movie. I remember always skipping this episode. That's how much I hated it. Now, at my age, the only scary thing about this episode is how inconsistent it is. Apparently, Sandy hibernates during the winter, but she's in Christmas specials, so I guess she just decided to stop hibernating. Before I go, I want to thank you guys for 170 subscribers. I know that's not a lot, but I'm a nobody. The fact that over 170 of you thought I was worthy enough for you to spend time to click that subscribe button, that blows my mind. I appreciate every single subscriber. You guys and gals are awesome.